The Stoic's Guide to Mindful Conversation, 7 Topics to Sidestep for a Serene Life. In a world saturated with noise and fleeting interactions, the ancient wisdom of Stoicism offers a refreshing path towards meaningful connection and inner peace. Epictetus, a titan of Stoic thought, wisely observed that we possess 2 ears and 1 mouth, suggesting a profound imbalance in our modern discourse. We are often quick to speak, slow to listen, and even slower to truly understand. Stoicism, a philosophy dedicated to virtuous living and inner tranquility, provides a compass for navigating the complexities of human interaction. However, beyond its well-known tenets, lie subtle nuances that, when understood, can dramatically improve the quality of our conversations and, ultimately, our lives. Today, we embark on a journey of mindful communication, exploring 7 subjects that might be prudent to sidestep in our daily dialogues. By understanding these lesser-discussed aspects of Stoic philosophy, we can equip ourselves to engage more thoughtfully, serenely, and authentically in the world around us, fostering stronger relationships, cultivating inner peace, and ultimately, living a more virtuous and fulfilling life. Let's delve into these topics, not as restrictions, but as opportunities for growth and mindful engagement with ourselves and others. This journey of self-improvement through thoughtful communication offers the potential for not only a more serene existence, but also a more meaningful impact on the world around us. It's a journey that begins with understanding and ends with virtuous action, guided by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. 1. Other people's flaws. We've all been there, caught in the web of gossip, whether it's at a family gathering during a casual coffee break, or in a digital chat group. The conversation subtly shifts from innocent banter to discussing someone else's actions, choices, or character. The allure of gossip can be powerful, but what do we truly achieve by indulging in it? At its core, this practice sidetracks us from our personal growth journey, sowing seeds of negativity in our minds and the environment around us. For instance, imagine being at a family dinner where Aunt Martha's penchant for being perennially late becomes the evening's jest, or those times in the office pantry when colleagues gather, murmuring about someone's attire that might not meet the standard. These conversations might offer a brief, fleeting sense of camaraderie or superiority, but they erode the bonds of trust and companionship over time. A common misconception is that discussing others' flaws makes us more vigilant about our own. However, it often does the opposite. Continual focus on external flaws can make us complacent about our internal growth. Instead, if we channel that energy toward understanding our own behaviors and attitudes, we stand to gain so much more. And it's worth remembering Marcus Aurelius's words in moments like these: waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. B1. Isn't it more enriching to lead by example, demonstrating virtue in our actions and words? The allure of discussing other people's shortcomings is undeniably tempting. It can provide a momentary feeling of superiority, a sense of belonging through shared judgment, or even a misguided belief that we're somehow bettering ourselves by pointing out the flaws in others. However, Stoicism urges us to resist this impulse and instead, turn our gaze inward. Engaging in gossip or criticism, even if seemingly harmless, is a drain on our mental energy and a distraction from the work of self-improvement. Every moment spent dissecting the perceived imperfections of others is a moment lost that could have been dedicated to cultivating our own virtues. Furthermore, such discussions often breed resentment and mistrust, poisoning the atmosphere around us. Imagine the ripple effect. Your words, repeated and embellished, can damage reputations and strain relationships, creating a climate of fear and suspicion. Stoicism encourages us to practice empathy and understanding. Instead of rushing to judge, we should strive to see the world through the eyes of others, recognizing that everyone is struggling with their own challenges and imperfections. Perhaps Aunt Martha's lateness stems from a deeper anxiety or a chaotic schedule. Maybe the colleague's unconventional attire is an expression of their individuality or a reflection of their personal circumstances. By refraining from judgment and practicing compassion, we cultivate a more tolerant and understanding mindset, fostering stronger and more authentic connections with those around us. Moreover, by focusing on our own imperfections, we create opportunities for genuine growth. Every time we resist the urge to criticize, we strengthen our self-discipline. Every time we choose understanding over judgment, we cultivate empathy. And every time we turn our attention inward, we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and our own capacity for growth. This constant self-reflection is at the heart of Stoic practice, leading us towards greater self-awareness and a more virtuous life. There's a certain serenity that comes with consciously deciding not to partake in gossip or needless criticism. The next time you find yourself in such a situation, you could consider guiding the conversation towards a more positive topic, or simply choose to listen without contributing. This not only preserves your peace of mind but also subtly encourages a more uplifting environment for everyone involved. In essence, by refraining from discussing others' flaws, we're not just avoiding negativity, we're making a proactive choice to foster positivity, trust, and growth, both within us and in our circles. This proactive choice is the essence of Stoic living, a conscious commitment to virtue and self-improvement. It's about taking responsibility for our actions and words, recognizing their power to shape not only our own lives, but also the lives of those around us. This responsibility, embraced with intention and mindful awareness, is the key to unlocking a more serene and fulfilling existence. 2. Your personal wealth, or lack of it in our digital age, where a casual scroll through social media often presents us with displays of affluence and curated success, discussing personal wealth, or the lack thereof, has become a precarious territory. On one side, there's the subtle pressure to keep up with the Joneses, and on the other, a fear of being perceived as lacking. Yet, beneath these discussions and comparisons lies a turbulent undercurrent of emotions, envy, pride, insecurity, or sometimes even despair. 307-341, picture this: you're at a gathering where friends are discussing their recent vacations. One visited the Maldives and stayed in an overwater villa, another explored the romantic streets of Paris. Listening to their tales, you feel a pang. Maybe you couldn't afford a vacation this year or chose to save for something else. The immediate reaction might be to either defensively justify your choices or, alternatively, share a past experience to level the playing field. Or, take a contrasting scenario: you've recently received a significant raise at work or made a profitable investment. At a dinner with friends, the topic of finances comes up. It might feel tempting to mention your recent gains, not entirely out of arrogance, but perhaps to share your joy. Yet, as the words flow, you notice the subtle shifts in body language, a friend's downcast eyes, another's polite yet distant smile. Suddenly, a light-hearted gathering takes on a different hue. Amidst these dynamics, it's invaluable to remember the teachings of Epictetus, who said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." True wealth is not just materialistic affluence but a state of contentment. It's about understanding and appreciating what we have rather than yearning for what we don't. The societal obsession with wealth is a pervasive force, constantly bombarding us with images of luxury, success, and material possessions. This relentless exposure can create a sense of inadequacy, fueling envy and discontent, especially when we compare ourselves to others. The Stoic approach to wealth, however, is radically different. It emphasizes inner riches over external possessions, arguing that true wealth lies not in what we own, but in our ability to be content with what we have. Discussing personal wealth, whether boasting about our successes or lamenting our perceived shortcomings, often serves to reinforce this materialistic mindset. It draws our attention outward, focusing on external validation and the accumulation of possessions, rather than inward, where true happiness and fulfillment reside. Stoicism teaches us that virtue, wisdom, and inner peace are the most valuable forms of wealth. These are the qualities that truly enrich our lives and provide lasting satisfaction. Instead of focusing on material possessions, we should strive to cultivate these inner resources, finding joy in simple pleasures, cultivating strong relationships, and living a life of purpose and meaning. Sharing and celebrating success is wonderful, but it's essential to tread with sensitivity and awareness, ensuring we're not inadvertently sowing seeds of inadequacy or discontent in ourselves or others. Conversely, feeling content with our financial status, regardless of societal standards, is an empowering stance. It frees us from the emotional roller coaster of constant comparison. To cultivate a Stoic approach to wealth, consider reflecting on your own relationship with money. Does discussing it bring you genuine joy, or does it stem from a place of wanting validation? Recognizing this can guide our conversations towards more authentic and harmonious exchanges. The next time the topic of finances arises, consider shifting the focus to discussions of shared experiences, personal growth, or meaningful contributions to the world. Talk about the joy of learning a new skill, the satisfaction of helping others, or the beauty of appreciating the natural world. These are the topics that truly nourish the soul and foster genuine connection. After all, the most meaningful riches lie not in our bank accounts, but in the depth of our relationships, the quality of our character, and the tranquility of our souls. By focusing on these inner riches, we can liberate ourselves from the relentless pursuit of material wealth and cultivate a life of true abundance. 3. Past grievances. Carrying the weight of past grievances can be likened to hauling a heavy backpack on a long journey. The more you hold on to it, the harder your journey becomes. It's a natural human inclination to remember wrongs committed against us, whether they're major betrayals or minor slights. However, constantly discussing or reliving these grievances not only intensifies the burden but also prevents us from fully experiencing the present moment and the potential joys it offers. 552-624, imagine a childhood friend, Alice, with whom you've shared countless memories. Yet, one summer, due to a misunderstanding, she missed your birthday party, an event you had eagerly anticipated together. Years have passed, and you've had numerous happy occasions since then, but every time you both meet, the shadow of that missed party looms large. Instead of celebrating the present friendship and the shared bond, the conversations often circle back to that one grievance, preventing the relationship from blossoming further. 624-657, as we navigate these feelings, recalling the words of Seneca can offer perspective. The greatest remedy for anger is delay. Instead of impulsively reacting to wrongs and cementing them in our memory, giving ourselves time to process and reflect allows us to approach the situation with a clearer, more balanced mind. Holding on to past grievances is like carrying a burning ember in your hand. It may seem like you're punishing the person who wronged you, but in reality, you're only hurting yourself. The bitterness and resentment fester within, poisoning your thoughts and emotions, and preventing you from experiencing joy and peace. Constantly rehashing these past wrongs only serves to keep the wound fresh, preventing it from healing. It traps you in a cycle of negativity, clouding your judgment and hindering your ability to move forward. The Stoic approach to dealing with past grievances is not to ignore or suppress them, but to process them with reason and understanding, and then to consciously choose to let them go. It's about recognizing that clinging to the past serves no purpose, and that true freedom lies in forgiveness and acceptance. Moreover, with time, many grievances that seemed monumental in the moment often lose their intensity. By continuously discussing past grievances, we inadvertently keep the wound fresh, preventing it from healing. It's not about forgetting or undermining one's feelings but about consciously choosing not to let past events dictate our present emotions and conversations. It's about recognizing the power and freedom in forgiveness, in letting go. To begin the process of letting go, start by acknowledging your feelings. Don't try to deny or suppress the pain, anger, or sadness that you're experiencing. Allow yourself to feel these emotions fully, but don't let them consume you. Next, try to understand the situation from a different perspective. Consider the motivations of the person who wronged you. Were they acting out of malice, or were they simply making a mistake? Were they under pressure or facing their own challenges? By understanding their perspective, you can begin to develop empathy and compassion, which can make it easier to forgive. When we release these grievances, we not only unburden our souls but also open up space for more positive experiences and relationships to flourish. Engage in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Spend time with loved ones, pursue your passions, and focus on creating positive experiences in the present moment. By focusing on the present, you can shift your attention away from the past and create a more positive and fulfilling future. In essence, discussing past grievances can feel momentarily validating, but true growth and peace come from introspection, understanding, and ultimately releasing them. The past can be a teacher, but it shouldn't be the driver of our present journey. By embracing forgiveness and focusing on the present, we can break free from the shackles of the past and create a brighter future for ourselves. 4. Predicting the future. The human mind, with its incredible imagination and analytical prowess, has always been captivated by the idea of predicting the future. From deciphering patterns in nature to seeking answers in the stars, our ancestors too have tried to unveil what lies ahead. Today, in our age of data and algorithms, that quest continues, albeit in different forms. Yet, while foresight and planning are commendable, obsessively trying to predict every twist and turn can become an exhausting, often anxiety-ridden endeavor. Let's step into the shoes of Maya, a young woman about to graduate from university. The possibilities are vast, but so are the uncertainties. Every dinner conversation with family turns into a speculation fest about job prospects, potential cities to move to, and the nature of the economy in the next 5 years. Friends constantly discuss potential career paths, comparing prospects and probabilities. The result? Maya feels an overwhelming pressure and anxiety stemming not from the present but from the myriad unpredictable futures. As these waves of uncertainty and anxiety rise, it's worth pondering on Seneca's observation: we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. While it's practical and even wise to be informed and prepared, constantly discussing and speculating about an uncertain future can magnify imagined challenges, turning them into looming threats. Our modern society places a high value on planning and preparation. We are encouraged to set goals, make projections, and anticipate potential challenges. While this can be beneficial to a certain extent, it can also lead to excessive worry and anxiety about the future. The Stoics recognized the inherent uncertainty of life and cautioned against becoming overly attached to future outcomes. Obsessively trying to predict the future is an exercise in futility, as countless unforeseen events can derail our plans and render our predictions meaningless. Moreover, this constant preoccupation with the future detracts from our ability to fully appreciate and engage with the present moment. More often than not, many of these predicted scenarios never come to pass, or if they do, they're rarely as daunting as our minds had amplified them to be. What Stoicism teaches us here is the value of embracing the present moment. Instead of getting lost in the maze of what-ifs, it's about grounding ourselves in the what-is. While we can't control every facet of the future, we can control our actions and responses in the present. By reducing the time spent on endless speculations, we can redirect our energies towards actionable, meaningful steps that align with our values and goals. Consider the example of career planning. Instead of endlessly debating which career path offers the greatest potential for financial success or social status, focus on identifying your skills, interests, and values. Then, take concrete steps to explore different opportunities, network with professionals in your field, and develop your skills. Similarly, when faced with financial uncertainty, focus on practicing frugality, building a solid financial foundation, and developing your ability to adapt to changing circumstances. While discussing potential futures can be enlightening, it's essential to strike a balance. The true beauty of life lies not in predicting every sunset and sunrise but in marveling at the hues of the present moment, confident in our ability to adapt and thrive come what may. 5. Petty controversies. The magnetic pull of controversy is deeply woven into the fabric of our social interactions. It caters to our innate curiosity and desire for connection, even if it's over topics that in the grand scheme of things might seem insignificant. Such controversies might appear harmless at first glance, yet their insidious nature lies in their ability to consume our mental bandwidth and divert our focus from matters of genuine substance. Jenna, an ambitious young writer, knows this all too well. On a bright Sunday morning, with a fresh cup of coffee in hand, she settles down to pen a few chapters of her novel. However, a buzzing notification draws her attention to a trending topic on social media: a debate over a celebrity's new hairstyle. She reads a comment, then another, formulates a reply, and soon finds herself descending down a rabbit hole of opinions and counter-opinions. Hours later, the page she intended to fill with her creativity remains blank, her initial enthusiasm a distant memory. Now extrapolating from Jenna's experience, it's easy to see the broader implications. These minor distractions, if allowed to persist, can accumulate, morphing into significant obstacles in our personal and professional lives. They shift our conversations, dominate our free time, and, more worryingly, begin to shape our self-worth and perception based on fleeting, often shallow metrics. In today's hyper-connected world, we are constantly bombarded with information, opinions, and controversies, many of which are trivial and inconsequential. From celebrity gossip to political squabbles, these petty controversies can be incredibly distracting, consuming our time and energy and diverting our attention from more important matters. The Stoics recognize the importance of focusing on what is within our control and avoiding distractions that can hinder our progress toward virtue and inner peace. Engaging in petty controversies is a waste of time and energy, as it rarely leads to any meaningful resolution or positive outcome. It often involves arguing over opinions and beliefs that are deeply ingrained, making it difficult to change anyone's mind. Furthermore, it can be emotionally draining, leading to feelings of frustration, anger, and resentment. The wisdom of Epictetus offers guidance in such scenarios. It's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. This sentiment reminds us that while we cannot always control the influx of controversies in our environment, we hold the reins when it comes to our engagement. By consciously choosing where we direct our attention, we reclaim our mental space, ensuring that it's reserved for endeavors that align with our aspirations and values. A Stoic approach to dealing with petty controversies involves cultivating a sense of detachment and perspective. Recognize that most of these issues are beyond your control and that your opinion is unlikely to change the outcome. Instead of getting caught up in the drama, focus on what you can control, your own thoughts, emotions, and actions. Cultivating self-awareness and discernment in our information consumption is essential to avoid being drawn into the vortex of petty controversies. By regularly evaluating our motivations behind participating in a controversy, we can discern whether it's out of genuine interest or mere habit. It's also beneficial to curate our information sources, ensuring that what we consume aligns with our goals and values. Immerse oneself in the vast ocean of controversies is a choice, yet with awareness and intention, we can sail these waters, anchoring ourselves in discussions of depth and substance and steering clear of the ephemeral whirlpools that seek to draw us in. The journey towards discernment is continuous, but with each conscious decision, we move closer to a life of purpose undeterred by the fleeting storms of petty controversies. 6. Vain displays of knowledge. The pursuit of knowledge is a noble endeavor, yet it can sometimes lead us astray when the intent behind it shifts from personal growth to mere showmanship. Flaunting knowledge without genuine purpose is akin to hoarding treasures in a chest and displaying them for fleeting admiration rather than using them to enrich one's life or the lives of others. Take the case of Arya, a passionate reader who always had a book in hand. Over time, her love for learning gave her a vast reservoir of knowledge on diverse topics. However, as she began to receive admiration for her intellect, a subtle change occurred. Instead of sharing knowledge to enlighten or assist others, her conversation started taking on a different tone. Whenever discussions arose, Arya would interject with obscure facts, often derailing the conversation's flow or overshadowing others' contributions. Instead of fostering connections and understanding, her interactions began to create distance and subtle alienation among her peers. While it's commendable to be well-informed and knowledgeable, the essence of acquiring wisdom is not just in its accumulation but in its apt application. The Stoics believe that knowledge is a valuable tool, but only when used for virtuous purposes. Knowledge should be acquired to improve oneself, to help others, and to contribute to the greater good. However, when knowledge is used for selfish purposes, such as to impress others or to gain social status, it becomes a form of vanity and loses its true value. A vain display of knowledge is often motivated by a desire for external validation. The person seeking to impress others with their intelligence is often insecure and seeking to boost their self-esteem. However, this type of validation is fleeting and ultimately unsatisfying. True self-esteem comes from within, from a sense of purpose and accomplishment. Knowledge, when used as a tool for vanity, can become isolating. It can transform from a bridge that connects people to a wall that distances them. Seneca once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." In the context of our discussion, this could be interpreted as enjoying the process of learning and sharing knowledge genuinely, without the anxiety of constantly proving oneself or seeking validation. Focus on using your knowledge to help others. Share your insights and expertise in a way that is helpful and informative, rather than condescending or boastful. Remember that the goal is to enlighten and empower others, not to impress them. A genuine display of knowledge is not in reciting facts but in applying them meaningfully, in aiding understanding, in fostering connections, and in using what we know to uplift ourselves and others. It's about knowing when to speak, what to share, and how to communicate, ensuring that the essence of the message is not lost in the clamor for recognition. In our journey of continuous learning, it's crucial to frequently introspect and evaluate our intentions. Are we seeking knowledge to grow, or are we seeking it to glow? By aligning our quest for knowledge with the genuine intention of personal growth and positive contribution, we can ensure that our wisdom becomes a beacon of light for ourselves and those around us, rather than a mere decorative lamp admired but not illuminating. 7. Obsessive self-criticism. In an era where perfection is often celebrated, it's common for many of us to hold ourselves to incredibly high standards. While aiming for excellence can drive progress, incessantly critiquing every action and thought can become counterproductive. Imagine tirelessly preparing for an important presentation or project only to constantly belittle your efforts, second-guessing every choice, or worrying about each word you'd say. Instead of focusing on delivering with confidence, you're entangled in a web of over-analysis where the fear of perceived inadequacy overshadows genuine effort. 1356 to 1430, this relentless internal scrutiny, instead of acting as a motivator, can become a deterrent. It can hinder spontaneity, reduce creativity, and even impact overall well-being. The excitement of starting a new endeavor or the joy of completing a task can quickly be clouded by the persistent voice that asks, "Was it good enough?" While striving for improvement is a virtuous goal, excessive self-criticism can be detrimental to our well-being and hinder our progress. Obsessively dwelling on our perceived flaws and shortcomings can lead to anxiety, depression, and a lack of self-confidence. The Stoics recognized the importance of self-awareness and self-reflection, but they also emphasized the need for self-acceptance and compassion. We should strive to improve ourselves, but we should also acknowledge our limitations and accept ourselves as we are. Obsessive self-criticism often stems from a fear of failure or a desire for perfection. We set unrealistic expectations for ourselves and then beat ourselves up when we fall short. However, the Stoics taught that failure is a natural part of life and that we should learn from our mistakes rather than dwell on them. Embedded within this challenge is a Stoic reflection by Marcus Aurelius: "The universe is changing, our life is what our thoughts make it." If our thoughts are perpetually critical, our reality mirrors that negativity, but if we can manage to harness our thoughts, we have the power to reshape our reality. Practicing self-compassion and recognizing our inherent worth are vital steps toward breaking free from the cycle of self-criticism. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a friend facing similar challenges. Challenge those negative thoughts, question their validity, and reframe them in a more positive and constructive light. Focus on your strengths and accomplishments. Instead of dwelling on your perceived weaknesses, take time to acknowledge your talents and skills. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small, and remind yourself of all the things you have accomplished in your life. Breaking free from this cycle of self-criticism involves recognizing and challenging these self-deprecating thoughts. It's about understanding the difference between wanting to improve and unnecessarily pulling oneself down. It might help to consider whether you would subject a friend to the same level of criticism you apply to yourself. Often, we are our own harshest critics. Fostering a mindset of growth where mistakes are seen as stepping stones and not stumbling blocks can pave the way for healthier self-assessment. By celebrating small victories and understanding that the path to success is often non-linear, we can navigate our journey with a balanced perspective, embracing both our strengths and areas of improvement. In essence, while self-awareness is a valuable asset, obsessive self-criticism can be a formidable obstacle. By cultivating a mindset of growth, compassion, and understanding, we can achieve a harmonious balance that fuels progress without compromising well-being. In our journey through life, understanding the nature of our conversations, both internal and external, can significantly shape our experiences and perceptions. As we've delved into today, there are subjects that, when ruminated upon excessively, can distort our vision and stifle our growth. These 7 topics, when approached with mindful awareness and Stoic wisdom, can transform from potential pitfalls into opportunities for personal growth and more meaningful connections. I encourage you all to pause, introspect, and evaluate the narratives you often find yourself entwined in. Are there themes you're giving undue importance to? Moments or regrets that have outlived their relevance? Share your insights and reflections in the comments below. Your experiences might resonate with someone else, and together, we can foster a community of growth, understanding, and mutual support. Let's embark on this transformative journey hand in hand, fostering a better understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Remember, the key is not to avoid these topics entirely, but to engage with them thoughtfully and intentionally, guided by reason, virtue, and a commitment to self-improvement. By doing so, we can cultivate more meaningful conversations, strengthen our relationships, and ultimately, live a more serene and fulfilling life. Today, we've explored the importance of avoiding the constant discussion of other people's flaws, reminding ourselves that true growth comes from focusing on our own imperfections. We touched on the need to cultivate contentment regardless of personal wealth, recognizing that happiness is not found in material possessions. We've considered the burden of past grievances and the freedom that comes from forgiveness and letting go. We acknowledged the anxiety of trying to predict the future and the power of embracing the present moment. We noted the distractions of petty controversies and the importance of focusing on matters of genuine substance. We highlighted the dangers of vain displays of knowledge and the need to use our wisdom to uplift ourselves and others. And finally, we addressed the pitfalls of obsessive self-criticism and the importance of self-compassion and acceptance. Thank you for sharing this enlightening journey with me, and until our next philosophical venture, may you always tread the path less traveled, the Stoic way.